I was talking to this brother on Facebook yesterday in the comment section, and he had this article about in France that no one could buy food unless they were vaccinated. That was a law that they was going to lay down in France, and I believe in Germany too, to some degree, but I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure it was France. And I saw a couple of comments like people were riding with it. I'm not attacking the brother. The brother was very humble about this, when I corrected him on it. And and I try to fact check everything. You can't believe everything until you fact check it. Because the way the story was presented, it would look like it was real. But all you got, so you see, a lot of brothers and sisters. I'm speaking in general. I'm not directing this at that brother because he was real cool about the situation. But a lot of brothers and sisters, they don't fact check anything because they like the bad news, or they like the good news, or they like news that relate to how they feel. And a lot of people, they want the kingdom of heaven next weekend at 2:00 in the Bronx. They want the kingdom of heaven next week at 2:00 in Atlanta or Chicago. But that doesn't even make sense, to just shut down food because people won't get vaccinated this level or far in the game. It doesn't see, there's a lot of prophecies that has to come to pass. There's a lot of prophecy that has to come to pass. And if you watch the news, and not just one source of news, you see how people are reacting, how people are rebelling against the vaccine itself. You see how people are rebelling against a lot of the laws that are being passed from this idiot Joe Biden. You see how people are reacting to a lot of things all over the world. You see the immigration situation in Mexico. That's an issue. You see school reform. That's the issue. Not just among white people, even so-called black people are rebelling against school reform as far as racist literature that was given to children prior, and now it's being attacked now. So there's mixed feelings and views on a lot of things, but a lot of things need to be fact-checked. And a lot of you brothers, you don't fact-check things. A lot of you sisters, you don't fact-check things, and people just run with it. I've seen the actual facts come out on certain situations, and people got mad and got mad and didn't care what the story said. They rather believe the lie. But this is Matthew 24, verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming?" You see that? Again, it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming?" Because the disciples, you better believe they were looking forward to the coming of the Lord and Savior again. The Romans were kicking our ass. Things weren't good. Things were pretty bleak for the nation at that time, and things are pretty bleak at this time. So, of course, common sense is going to inquire as far as, when is this judgment day going to come? When is it going to come? So the disciples in that time, they asked a question that I'm going to be bold and say that same question is on a lot of our minds. When shall we see the sky open and the Son of the Most High appear? When is this day going to come? And of the end of the world, it says, "Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world?" So we see plenty of signs detailing or relating to the coming of the Son of the Most High. But are these signs telling us that Judgment Day is next year? Can you prove that these signs are saying that Judgment Day is 2 years from now, or maybe next month or next week? The scriptures tell you, I believe in this same chapter, that no man knoweth that time, not even the angels, but only the Father knows. So for us to try to rush prophecy, you're going to run to the finish line full speed in total faith, and that's not going to be the finish line. It's not going to be the finish line that you're running to. You see, this is an article, it's called factcheck.org. It says, "Don't get spun by internet rumors. Don't get spun by internet rumors. It says just because you read it on Facebook or somebody blogs or in an email, again, I'm gonna read it again because it's very difficult to see. It says just because you read it on Facebook or somebody's blog or in an email from a friend or relative doesn't mean it's true. And that's very, very important. It's very, very true. A lot of you get caught up into these internet lies and you start to believe things that are not fact. You start to believe things are not fact, and just because you like the way it makes you feel, just because it puts you in a comfort zone spiritually, which is actually not spiritually, but just because a lie matches how you feel, you run with the story. You run with the lie and you push the rah-rah and the brothers eat up that rah-rah, and to you it's the end of the world next week. To you it's the end of the world next week. I remember a while ago in the 90s when you had Desert Storm. You had Desert Storm, and we all thought, this is it. This is in the 90s. This is it. We out of here. Look what's happening. Gog versus Magog. The Valley of Jehoshaphat. Here we are. And we swore that was the end. Don't go to work. Don't do this. Don't do that. That was in the 90s. Then nothing happened. Nothing happened. Then you had, Saddam Hussein, that situation. All over again in the East. And we said, this is it. This is it. And nothing happened. No judgment, nothing. And you know what followed behind that? The year 2000. We definitely out of here. Y2K. Everybody remembers Y2K. And a lot of churches predicted that was going to be the end of the world. And guess what? That Friday, it was a Friday, we went home, and at midnight, nothing happened. Nothing happened. So we thought that was going to be the end of the world. We thought that. Then what happened after that? The World Trade Center issue. Remember that? This is definitely, and America can't withstand an attack like that. This is the beginning of the end. The only thing that ended was a lot of your civil liberties and your civil rights by the government because it was an inside job. You can fact check that, but we thought that was the end of the world. How many of you remember that? Then we had the crash of 2008. Remember that? That was a big one in that time. The crash of 2008. We thought that was the end of the world. Remember that? And what happened? It wasn't the end of the world. A hell of a lot of job losses. People were running around afraid. That was supposed to be the end. Barack Obama was supposed to be the last president. You had brothers saying, Barack Obama will be the last president. He's the Antichrist. And guess what? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Well, things happened. It was bad. It's still bad. It's bad right now. It's bad right now. Then you had brothers talking about the blood moon and the Enoch calendar and 400 years. We've spent 400 years in Egypt and 400 years in America. So by this date and that time, it should be 400 years and we're out of here. Still here in captivity. The devil, the white man, is still ruling over us. Now it's Corona. I've said in multiple videos that the Corona is just a test run for something bigger. This is just a test run. You haven't seen anything yet. This is just a run to see how far this government can push you. Is the virus real? Sure, it's real. Sure, it's real. It's real. I'm trying to be careful what I said because I already cut my channel already down. Shut it down. But sure, it's real. But you brothers, you running around like this is the final frontier. How many final frontiers do we have to go through before you run the race Not as though it's to the swift, but those who endure. You're going to have to endure this. You're going to have to be well balanced and endure this. And don't tell me you're not saying this garbage, because a lot of you are going around, you're saying things like it's the end of the world next week, and you're wrong. You're going around, you're saying all these things, and you're wrong. And then you pretend like you didn't say it. You pretend like you didn't say it, and you start all over again. You create a new finish line. This is what you do. Now tell me I'm lying. And all you're doing is you're making yourself look bad. You're making yourself look bad. You're making yourself look really, really bad. Again, it says, just because you read it on Facebook or somebody's blog or in an email from a friend or relative doesn't mean it's true. It's probably not. It's probably not, as we advise our special report. As we advise in our special report. You see that? So, you got a lot of fake news out there. A hell of a lot of fake news. And a lot of you don't check nothing. It takes minutes to fact check something. Minutes. A couple of minutes. But Israel believes anything that's thrown at them. That's how Israel is. We believe anything that comes our way, and it's a damn shame how we operate. It's a shame how we operate. But, the wise, they're going to check things out. They're going to check things out. The wise, they're not going to just eat up what's thrown at them. They're not going to do that. So let's read it again. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua, who the world knows, as Jesus, answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Take heed that no man deceive you. And a lot of you have been deceived. You could say, no, not me. I didn't say that. All right. He says, but the Lord said, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. See that? And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled. He didn't say that was the end. He said, see that ye be not troubled. So if you're a spiritual man or woman, you're not going to be troubled. You're going to know that this is part of the Most High's program. This is part of the Most High program, and the end is near. But how near? You don't know. I gave plenty of examples of what I've experienced in my walk from other brothers and sisters. And it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things. You see that? For all these things must come to pass. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You see what the Most High is saying? The end is not yet. So why is the Most High saying that? Because only the Most High and the angels, only the Most High, but not the angels, not us, not even Yahushua, knows that time. None but the Father only. 7th verse. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So we see this. We see this, but what we see is just the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So in the 50s, there was earthquakes. There was war in the 50s. Or the 40s mainly, World War II. Then you had World War I in the early 1900s. And you have war now. So which was the beginning of sorrows during World War I, World War II, Or is this the beginning of sorrows? Considering the wars we see now. Which is the beginning of sorrows? My point is, you haven't seen nothing yet. You haven't seen nothing yet. You haven't seen nothing yet. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. So I bring this up just to put brothers in remembrance that use wisdom. Use wisdom. Don't be a fool. Use wisdom. Don't follow man. Use wisdom. Protect your families. Be smart. Be wise. And think. Think. Because there's a lot of lies and things floating around to make you believe what you hear. And everything you hear is not necessarily the truth. I'm gonna jump right here. It says, on this page, we featured a list of false or misleading viral rumors we're asked about most often, and a brief summary of the facts. You understand? So he goes to a bunch of things that are not fact-checked but are passed around on the internet. And a lot of us, we believe the lies. This is why I say don't just watch CNN. Watch CNN, Fox, CNBC, World News. Watch all the news. Don't just read one book, read many books. I know a few brothers, they'll check something out on a book, right? And they'll have 10 books. And maybe 7 books will confirm what the brother is saying is false. But because he sees the truth, what he believes is the truth in one book, he'll run with that. And the other 2 books out of the 10 is kind of vague. But because he finds one fact, which is not a fact, to support how he feels or his argument, he runs with that. And that's how Israel is today, man. I tell you that a lot of what you believe and what you do is life altering, and you will mess yourself up. You will mess yourself up. So consider what I'm saying. Consider what I'm saying and fact check everything. And not just with things outside of scripture, even with scripture. Fact check. Because over the years, that's what I did. Over the years, I'll give you a couple of examples. Confusion of faces. It has nothing to do with us confusing our faces with the heathens. Read the whole chapter in Corinthians on confusions of faces. Read the whole chapter. Bodily exercise profit you nothing. When you start researching it, it seems like it's going into gymnasiums, but it's not actually talking about that. It's not actually talking about gymnasiums and the gym and the Greeks. It's not actually talking about that. Research it. Look it up. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. That he is not the white man covering the actual image of Yahushua, who they call Christ. That he is the Most High confounding the evildoers. You understand? Same thing with the covering I mentioned in Corinthians. Confusion of faces. Same thing. Rehearsing the righteous acts that you read about in the Old Testament. I can't remember exactly where it's at. Judges 5:11, I believe it is. That's not talking about we're going through rehearsal with the laws. That means to rehearse, meaning to speak the laws or the Spirit of the Most High in the ears of the people. That's what it's talking about. So you have to start fact checking a lot of the stuff that you're hearing, because some brothers even know what I'm saying is true, and they still want to they still rather hold on to the lie. They still rather hold on to the lie. And you be a fool if you want, but these things are not even hard. You know, the fact check something takes 5 minutes in certain cases. 5 minutes. Sometimes less. Sometimes it's just common sense. So just bear that in mind. This brother McQuarrie signing out. Something on the brother's mind. Something on the brother's mind.